Hello, it's the Captain, and yes, this is going to be a text wall in video form. Probably not a video you were expecting, but given it's a new year, I thought it best to create something of a recap of the prior year while going over what's planned for the new one. Think of it as me making a journal. And it all starts with 2021, my first full year back in YouTube poop. It felt refreshing. When I initially came back into the fold, I had no idea if I would fall prey to my old demons and drop the habit again, but I stayed true. In fact, this year left me more optimistic about where all this is going. Not just because of the more solid schedule I had in place, but because YouTube poop as a whole has grown. I was never worried it was going anywhere, but I am surprised how resilient it's been in the wake of a changing YouTube. It seems like every day the site caters to creators who can put out videos daily, or produce in a smartphone format, which isn't something you'll find often in YouTube poop. However, this medium still has reach across the platform, and new videos that come out are still striking a chord with the user base, even those who haven't seen or typically don't watch YouTube poop. As weird as it sounds, I'm not worried about YouTube taking serious action against YouTube poop creators like I was afraid of happening in the past. If being caught using copyrighted videos means you have to host ads whose revenue goes to the studios, I'll take that over having the video repeatedly taken down. As for myself, I still feel like there's a long way to go. Don't let my subscriber count fool you. This channel does not get the same attention that it did 10 years ago. That's just what happens when you've gone for 5 years. It kills whatever momentum YouTube and its algorithm was giving you. Not to sound petty, but subscriber count does matter to me. I want my videos to be seen by as many people as possible. With that being said, I am still extremely grateful to have broken through the 17,000 subscriber mark this year, because it means the upward trajectory is now going to be a lot easier. And one of the ways it lurched forward was through last summer's Ice Age YouTube poop. I don't know how it made it onto the YouTube poop search page, but I couldn't be happier it did. Sometimes I worry that my classic form YouTube poops are relics of the past, but seeing the newer crowd enjoying something made in that style really is reassuring. If you subscribed through that Ice Age video, thank you truly, and welcome to my madness. I don't know how long it will be before another one of my videos reaches that spot again, but even if it never does, I'm grateful to have you in my audience. The other big things from this year were the more outgoing projects. The tennis match with The Things is a perfect example of this. YouTube poop tennis isn't something you see as often as you used to with mainstream creators. It's really more of a niche thing now. Really though, it's something that more people do need to attempt, if not for the sake of collaborating with another amazing creator like The Things. She was a perfect partner, and what we ended up making was nothing short of beautiful. Then there was Dollop Days' YouTube poop contest, which was fun to be a part of. Even Jimmy D. Pooper's contest was a blast, even though I produced something nowhere near what the guidelines asked for. But on top of it all was the addition of 3 new classic form YouTube poops. These videos are hard to make and even harder to prepare for, but there's still a part of me that wants to produce them. I'm flirting with the idea of splitting them into multiple parts so they can be completed more quickly, which is why the upcoming Shark Boy and Lava Girl one will be a 2-parter. I don't ever want to rush out an inferior product. When it comes to these videos, every joke needs to land. Otherwise, it's just not memorable for me. Like, if I'm going to put out a sequel to Game On, it needs to be on the same level of care, quality, and love for the process that the original had. That's why Game On Part 2 was my favorite out of all of my YouTube poops from this past year, and the one that I rewatched the most. 2021 also brought about a more personal change. Keep in mind, I don't like to disclose what goes on in my personal life. I'm used to keeping the cards close to my chest, so to say, but I do think it's important to talk about this one thing, and it has a lot to do with you. The past 3 years or so, I had spent 2 hours, sometimes 3, driving back and forth to my job. It was affecting me in terms of time I spent before a computer and with friends and family. But more importantly, it was affecting me mentally. I'd spent 5 years doing this job, and at the tail end of the year, I decided enough was enough and went and found a different job. When I put in my 2 weeks notice, I anticipated a lot of goodbyes and thank yous, especially from people I was partnered with. I mean, I had outperformed my goals at work to the point where upper management was going out of their way to say they're noticing me. But upon turning in my resignation, I got nothing. No one wished me well. no one seemed to care that I was leaving. And maybe worst of all, no one wanted to make an effort to keep me. It felt inhuman. Like all the time that I put into this job was just devoid of importance, and all the worth that I thought I had to them was really a lie. When I quote-unquote left after the Digimon video, you left me some of the most heartwarming and meaningful messages I ever read. Even while I was mostly out of YouTube from then until 2020, I would continue to get comments about what these videos meant to you. That's why I opened a Patreon account. Whatever I do for a living, I don't just want to do for money, but gratification. It hurt me that I had spent years working somewhere that saw me as disposable when to you, I'm anything but. If I could do it all over, I'd go back to 2013, say screw the book, and get right back to making funny videos like I never left, essentially filling in the gap. Making these videos is fun, and I wish I didn't need an occupation to support me while being a creator, but that's what it is for now. If you become a patron, you are awesome because you're helping me to make so many people laugh and getting me closer to being able to do this for a living. If you can't do it right now, you're still awesome because you're here enjoying whatever I put out. The reason I've been able to make so many more YouTube poops over the past couple of years is because I don't think about making every video bigger like I used to. In fact, some of my favorite videos are the ones that required the least planning. My focus has stayed the same: pour my freakish sense of humor into as many videos as I can think of, and whatever shitty song Drake puts out. And going into 2022, that's what I plan to do: keep the momentum. My new job makes it easier to work on these videos, and even with the added responsibility of a new puppy, my YouTube poop output should be more concentrated this year. My 2022 goal for this channel is simple: build on the numbers. Just keep making videos, keep the consistency going. I also want to experiment with other things regarding YouTube poop. I've thought about making videos about how to sentence mix, or sentence mixing 101 as I plan to call it. A couple of my patrons also suggested I toy with streaming the creation of a YouTube poop. Regardless of how the journey goes, I'm grateful to have you with me. Thank you for keeping me honest throughout this whole thing. Thank you for liking the videos that I make and telling me what you didn't like about them. Thank you for sharing them on Discord or Twitter or with friends who you thought would tickle their funny bone. Just thank you for allowing me to make your day better. Laughter really is the best medicine, and I'm more than happy to be your doctor. And of course, thank you especially to those who took the plunge and supported me on Patreon: Pigflyer, Sebastian, HJ, Goober, Humdinger, Galestrom, Morphs, and Accelerandos. Thank you so much. It's gonna be a good year, guys. Stay tuned.